Okay, so welcome back, and now let's see what is explicit. And when there is such kind of implicit weight, why we are switching to explicit as an alternate or as one more synchronization. Now, before I talk on this, I would like to take up one disadvantage of this implicit. Now, so we have a plan of some 100 test cases and which instant from single driver object in our framework. So we are telling that maximum wait for 5 seconds, not more than that, because our application is fully tested on load to make sure that results are displayed in 5 seconds. And we have done that, and we are having a smooth execution without failures. Now, there is one situation in my test, like when I do one scenario, thousands of results will be returned. So that means in single web browser, 1000 flight results or 1000 hotels will be retrieved. Now, when I say go and search for the hotels in New York, hardly I would get some 50 to 100. But when I change my search box to go and select hotels in United States, my results will be returned as some 10,000. So when 10,000 results are fetching from database, my system takes 15 seconds to load. There might be some exceptional case in your web application. Okay, so every time it takes 5 seconds only. Whenever you select a particular city, my load testing concept is to make sure everything display in 5 seconds. Now, when I select entire country, it really takes the time to load 10,000 hotels in whole your web browser. So definitely, as per web development view, it will take 15 seconds to load, and with the load icon will keep on rolling saying your results are getting ready with some neat text. Okay, so it waits 15 seconds to load. Right, so what you will do in this scenario? So some section of audience say, okay, let's make it our implicit wait as 15 seconds so that it will wait till 15 seconds and it will fail, so that it will display between 15 seconds and this criteria matches. So my test passes. Cool, good. This is one of the good idea, but unfortunately it's also a bad idea, because for every city you know that results should return in 5 seconds. Okay, but let's say there is some glitch in your website and every city is also taking 10 to 13 seconds to refresh the results. In that case, our application is successfully passing. Why? I mean, our script is successfully passing even if city takes 10 to 13 seconds. But as per our load scenarios, our manager or QA manager told us that maximum 5 seconds to load. That's the reason we have put 5 in our test. But due to this single test case in our entire application, which is a culprit, because it takes 15 seconds to load with the entire country results. So that's the reason we are going and placing 15 in your implicit wait. But thereafter, after few months, every city is also taking 10 to 13 seconds due to some performance coding issue in your test. In that situation, your test case will not catch this error because you are giving a huge time to wait, right? So because of this one single scenario, you are able to not reproduce this bug in your test. If it takes more than 5 seconds, you are not able to catch this bug. And one more, test will drastically comes to slow down test execution time, because let's say when I say Chicago, there is some error in our website. Okay, Chicago results are not returning. So when you click on search, in general it will check for 5 seconds and it will give the results. But in this case you have given 15, so test should wait for 15 seconds and then it should fail, right? And again, thereafter there is Dallas. Even in this test there is some error that results are not loading. Again, Selenium will take 15 seconds to know that and it will fail as our timeout is 15. Like that, if there are 4 cities mistake, then every city takes 15 seconds. It will wait for 15 seconds and then fail. 1 minute we are just wasting to know whether these scenarios are passing or failing. Okay, for 4 scenarios we are wasting 1 minute. If you put earlier like 5, within 20 seconds you will know the result. Okay, in 5 seconds it's not loading, there is something mistake. Okay, so it's better to keep it minimum as per your website standards, so that these two bugs will not be unhidden, right? They'll not be hidden. If you put it 5, you will get the error here and here, but if you go and put 5 number of seconds, and this test will fail. See, if you change there is some problem in your execution time, and you will face the defect. If you make the time less, this is failing. And this is as per application. Agree, even developers told us that, hey, it takes minimum 15 seconds to load. So that you write your script accordingly. So how to solve this problem? And here where explicit wait comes into picture. Now, in explicit wait, you can target a specific element. Okay, in implicit wait, whatever you write, it applies globally. But in explicit wait, you can target a specific scenario, you can target specific element and say to wait 15 seconds. Okay, and whatever you are defining in explicit wait is applicable to that specific locator only. I mean specific element. In my case, it's specific to all location hotel search. Right? So with this I am saying here, with explicit wait I can tell to Selenium WebDriver code wait till 15 seconds for hotels, for all the hotels results are returned. Okay, I can write one specific scenario which applicable to only this situation, and this 15 will not disturb any other scenarios. So I can target only this scenario and I can remove that. See, but in general, globally, I will define implicit wait for 5 seconds wait, which is applicable to all the test cases in my test suite. But if there are some exceptions, like 1 or 2 scenarios taking more than 50 and 20 seconds to load, and that time for those two specific situations, I would go with explicit wait and I will handle with those. Okay, so for the remaining, as I am declaring globally, and I'll use implicit wait. Okay, so this is how, with the help of implicit wait and explicit wait, we will be successfully achieve synchronization in Selenium WebDriver. This is the concept. Okay, and you will be asking a question like difference between implicit and explicit. Okay, so this you need to know, and you will get more idea when we do a practical example on how to target a specific element and how to define something globally. Okay, with one practical example, what I am showing in my next lectures, you will be very clear on practical usage of these two. But before that, I just want to give some kind of light on what was the difference. Right? So what was the ideal strategy of using synchronization in Selenium WebDriver? A question interview. Yep, you say that the implicit and explicit combination of this both is an ideal solution. Some people argue that you need to go with explicit wait only, you should not use implicit wait. But in real time, if they work in real time, if they work in a project where there are thousands of test cases, then they will understand why implicit wait is also the most important. Okay, it was easy to write a blog with some 20 lines by publishing a simple 10 lines of code saying get rid of implicit wait, it's better to use explicit wait. But come and start a project, come and do thousands of test cases, develop a huge framework, and then you will understand the importance of implicit. Okay, so both are combinedly used to achieve synchronization successfully in our real-time projects. Okay, so if someone asks you, you can explain the situation like this. Okay, the same scenario what I have told you, why explicit wait, right? So one more thing is thread.sleep. So thread.sleep, in our case, you can halt execution let's say it was taking 5 seconds to load. You can entirely pass your script for 5 seconds. That's it. There is no logic for thread.sleep. Thread.sleep is not part of Selenium WebDriver, first of all. It's part of Java. You are holding your Java test to wait for 5 seconds. And if that results are loaded in 3 seconds, even in that case, it will keep on waiting for 5 seconds. Because you just say pass for 5 and you never know about whether the results are loading, or you never care about that, and it will not listen to DOM also. Okay, but in implicit wait, it will wait for 5 seconds, but it will keep on listening to DOM, and whenever the results are written, it quickly comes out of that and it won't waste time, right? But it's not the case like in thread.sleep. So if you say 5, that's it, it waits for 5. Even that results are loaded in 1 second, it will not resume its execution. It will keep on waiting for 5 seconds. Okay, so that's the reason people will generally prefer thread.sleep should not be used in our framework. Even I prefer. Okay, in your testing for practice, you might use to make sure the script is passing, but in real time, thread.sleep is not at all preferable. And this was simple reason. Okay, there's no point in waiting till n number of seconds if page is already loaded, and implicit wait has some smart mechanism to come out of that, and explicit wait also has smart mechanism to target one location or one specific scenario. This is just a pass. It's a Java sleep which halts your execution, right? So that's the difference between these three, and it's a good example between implicit wait and thread.sleep is listening to DOM. Okay, and first of all, let's try to do some practical examples and try to understand more about this before we talk about fluent wait. Okay, I don't want to dump more and more concept. We need to have some practical touch also, right? In the next lecture, let's concentrate on programming and understanding this, right? Thank you.